Welcome back, everybody, to the Pixelists Podcast. I am your host, Blake, and that's Will. It's the podcast we talk about all the nerdy things we love and enjoy. We're back. We're back.
We're back.
We're back,
Oof.
baby.
It's been a minute,
It's been a
man.
weird summer. It's been a weird
Yeah,
summer. And
it has been.
I guess weird in the sense of I had a baby, which is not very weird. And um,
That's a big thing.
yeah. And then for our listeners, Will, I talked about this a little bit in the Discord. Check out the Discord. But Will's computer went kaput, I guess a few weeks ago, actually.
Yeah.
And just he's on his new rig right now. So that's why
Yep.
Will's been kind of out of pocket. And there's also been some other drama on the channel that we won't get into today, but some things that have kind of kept us from being as active as we wanted to be. But
Yeah. We'll have a lore drop at some point.
yeah. Yeah.
Blake and I hate each other. No, that's
Yeah.
that's it's not related to anything like that at all. But
No, yeah.
um,
Anyway.
or is it? Um, but yeah. So I just got my new computer. So apologies for the kind of crazy. What's the word? Inconsistency from us lately.
Yeah.
Which I know this isn't the correct probably subset of the audience to be speaking to because we're going to be talking about Worlds Beyond here. But and I don't know if you mentioned this in any of the live streams or anything, but we also kind of fell off on our Age of Umbra coverage.
Yes.
So I
We
don't know. We haven't really talked about our plan for that. I don't. Maybe we'll talk about it once it's all done or something, or I
yeah.
don't know. But apologies for that is all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But
I
hopefully,
apologize also, only because I feel bad because we, I can see. Thanks, dude. My son said he. All right, one second. My son drew something that I need to see.
yeah, you're good. But yeah, it's just been a crazy summer with Blake having a baby. Obviously, that is a lot. And then I went out of town, and the week I came back, my computer was fried. So
We had to see
that's
this.
beautiful.
I'm just pointing out. I know for a fact my 3-year-old did not do this.
So what do you mean? Who did it then?
Probably my wife or like my
Okay.
5-year-old or a combination. So you know, when you have kids, it doesn't matter if you're on a business call or what. It's like you better open that door. So,
That's right.
but yeah, so it just got so hectic and crazy. And the evenings for me, I'm usually like rocking a baby, and
Yeah.
so I never had the time to keep watching Age of Umbra, like to catch up. And I know similarly, it was hard for you to get your computer even to work, and so that's why we fell off with it. But I feel bad because I know the Discord's been a little quiet lately, and I do feel bad that we haven't kept up with all that. But anyway,
There's just stages of life where things get a little bit crazy, but we're not going anywhere, and
no,
hopefully things
and we're
will
just
return to a
getting
bit of normalcy.
started. That Critical Role ad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I knew where you were.
Yeah,
Um, and then okay, well, I was about to we'll have a longer catch up at some point where we'll talk about a
yeah.
lot of stuff because
Maybe Friday.
that just made me want to talk about Critical Role stuff, but
Yeah,
probably not the best
maybe
time to
Friday's
do that.
live stream would be a good
Yeah, yeah,
time
yeah.
for that. I think.
Um, because on that note, this what we're doing right here is also going to be just a short catch up with you guys. I don't even think we've said it yet, but we're here to talk about Worlds Beyond Number today. Because of all of the chaos in Blake and I's lives recently, we've kind of been a bit behind on that as well. And what's crazy is Blake and I were just talking about this. We both thought that we had put out something on last. It was 51
51. Yeah.
on episode 51 of Worlds Beyond, but we are both delusional, I guess. So we are 2 episodes behind on that. And episode 53 just came out. So we wanted to put this video out just to briefly kind of share our thoughts, I guess, on 51 and 52 so that we can get back caught up to speed. And then we will be doing our normal episode
Mhm.
on 53 sometime in the next, week and a half.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially because
so yeah,
we're in the
you're good.
last 2 episodes now, 53 and
I
54.
didn't realize that until you said that. So there's only 54?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not ready, dude.
I know. And this episode that just
I'm not
dropped is called Queen of Swords, which I'm like,
Have you
I
listened
don't
to it
like
yet?
that. No, I haven't listened to it yet. But
I
I'm
haven't
going
either.
to soon. So, but episode 51 and 52, we're not going to do a recap for it, but the high note story wise was basically Ursulon saving the kids from the
The Man in Black.
Man in Black. All of a sudden, I had
Yep.
you know when you have, like, a very common thing, but then you suddenly question, "Is that it?" And so I was
Yeah,
thinking Man in Black, then I go, "Am I thinking of Men in Black? Am I
like Will Smith.
Yeah, I was like, "What am I doing?" And then you corrected you, like, jumped in. I was like, "Okay, yeah." I was like, "Oh, thank
Yeah,
God. It is that." I don't know. Sometimes you just have a moment
yeah.
for, like, simple stuff, so
I feel like that happens to me all the time, man.
yeah. There's definitely moments where, like
Are we getting old?
yeah, there's moments where I explain something to Joy about my wife, about something someone else did, and she gives me this look, and then I'm suddenly like, "Am I the idiot? Oh my gosh, like, I think I am the idiot." So, anyway,
Are we stupid?
yeah. We're doctors. So, anyway, so Ursulon rescued the kids. We know that Ame made her way back to the Citadel, and there was a storyline of her going to Galt, the artificer, who had been kidnapped by the Citadel to figure out where I think it was Suvi's necklace stone, something to that effect.
I think that's the bread trail they were chasing.
Yeah, and ultimately, does rescue him, and, also Ursulon also does make his way is it back to the Citadel? I can't remember.
Yeah, you're bleeding into episode 52 now, but yes.
Yes, right, right. I don't remember how he got back, though, or why he got back.
So, he makes his way back to the cottage after the Man in Black children thing,
Yes,
and
that's
then
right,
Ame uses the
right.
doorknobs to, like, it was kinda confusing when it happened in the episode because there was, like, no lead up or, like, we kind of cut away from Ame, and she did stuff off screen that we
Yeah,
never got to see. But, essentially, she used the doorknobs, comes back to the cottage, and then
yeah.
both of them go back through the door to the Citadel to rescue Gold.
Which, I'm nervous about what Brennan's cooking up here because we have this line from Ursulon where Ame's like, "Hey, you wanna come help me with Galt and Suvi?" And Ursulon's like, "Well, I was gonna go back to Kalaya." And I have just this bad
Yeah.
feeling that, like, that option not that he's gonna die, but I'm like, this dude's sole purpose continues to be sidelined,
Yeah,
And so I'm just like, I just feel bad for him. Feel bad for my guy, Ursulon here.
I
So,
agree. Honor keeps getting in his way.
yeah. Long story short, though, we also know Suvi that she's taken with Steel to see the 25th, like hidden invisible platform where like
Yeah.
crazy magical experiments happen. Like Suvi, as a wizard, is blown away and was like, it's beautiful," and is like, "I'm back in. I'm pro.
Yeah.
Let's do it." Everything the Citadel is doing, I'm for it now. And then she goes and gives a report to the archmages to all the things she learned with the Witches' Coven and all the stuff like their plan and the attack from the Man in Black. Then she goes back to the Tower of the Glove, um, meets her ink demons again. Have an incredible scene there that I posted on Reddit about. And that episode ends with Steel, not Steel, Silver. Yeah, wait. All of a sudden,
Silver, yeah.
Silver, thank you.
Silver.
Attacking Silence, I think,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
dying in the process. So um, I said we weren't doing a recap, and then I just was like, let's just get on the same page,
That was quick, that was
So
quick. So, yeah, that's essentially what happened in 51 and 52.
Immediate
Um,
like, where's your head at before hitting play on episode 53? Like, what are you thinking about?
so So the biggest things I wanted to talk to you about very quickly from episode 51. There's probably more, but it's been like a month since I listened to it, so I'm probably forgetting. But the biggest thing was Naram is the best.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what a freaking G, man.
Yeah.
Like, shows up, saves Ursulon, and then that like the poetry Brennan is setting up for being like the next time we see each other, we'll be as enemies.
Mhm.
And I can't remember
I
I
never
only remember that I wanted to mention this, but I don't remember exactly what it was, so forgive me for butchering it, but there was some, like, beautiful line about,
he
like
yeah.
yeah, go ahead if
Where
you know what I'm talking about.
he says something like, "I hope that you're" that my sword strikes true and like my spear does not or something.
Yes, yes, it was so good because Urslan is the one wielding Wavebreaker.
Yes.
So, like, even though he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna be enemies next time I see you, and hopefully you kill me," like,
Yeah.
even though gosh, it was just so good. Like,
Brennan makes me so
um
angry for how good he is at these lines that are so effortless. I'm just
yeah,
like, yes, I love it. I love it.
beautiful.
Yep.
So that was the main thing I wanted to talk about there, and now that we know that, Naram is also on Team Man in Black, but then this most recent episode, we've talked about it at length at this point, but it seems like we got another huge mark in the column of steals, a bit shady. Um, Notably the when Suvi brings up modify memory and Steele freaks out,
Yes.
you know? So,
I
c it
yeah.
go ahead.
I just loved the implication of that scene of just like we talked about it a little bit in the Discord too of just like, okay, we know about the Gaia spell, but how many times has Steel done this exactly?
Yeah,
You know, it kind of reminded
100%.
me, what was that movie?
Memento?
No, it's I can't remember the name of the movie, and when I actually never saw it. I just saw like clips on YouTube, but like where the mom is keeping her daughter paralyzed from the waist down by like giving
Mm,
her and says like she was in like a tragic accident,
I know what you're talking
but she
about.
keeps giving the medicine to like keep her paralyzed. And
Mhm.
then I think it's based on a true story. But then
Yeah, I think it
the
is.
daughter's, like, asking the pharmacist about the medicine, like, "What is this medicine?" And then the mom,
Yeah,
like, freaks out of, like, "Oh, no, like, you're starting to, like, pull on the thread." That's what it
yeah,
reminded me of Steel being like, how do you know so much about like, what do you mean using
yeah,
modified memory?" But
and Suvi, which I think this perfectly makes sense in character, chalks that up to the Gaia spell because of
mhm,
the weird moment she had during the coven where she realized her memory had been altered. But and I know this is probably obvious, but I still wanna say it. Steel wouldn't have that reaction if that's all that it was referencing, right? So
100%.
clearly Steel has modified her memory many other times, or maybe not many, but other times that we're unaware of.
Mhm.
And I also think this is one of those things where it does not matter, but I'm just curious for behind the table because Suvi rolled, I think, a 5 on
Mhm.
that inside check, but Brennan said Steel rolled a nat 1. So part of me is like, did that moment only truly happen because of a nat 1? Or did Brennan want to have that moment there and just she's like, "Oh, you rolled a 5 on the inside? Well, Steel rolled a nat 1," you know? Like, just as a DM, like, I'm curious because, like, if I really wanted to have that moment, I'd be like, "No, what do you mean you rolled a 5?" You know?
There's also moments as a DM where, like, you regret that you asked for a roll. Like,
Yeah,
you're just
exactly.
like, "Why did I have you roll for that?" And in fact, I just did a one shot this last weekend for somebody's birthday, and, they were, like, doing a puzzle where they had to, like, move statues, and for the first person there's, like, 6 statues to move. So for the first one, I said, "Yeah, give me a strength check." And so they were fine, they were pushing the statue. Then everyone you had to move them, like, in different spots. So you had to, like, move them, like, 15 times. And after, like, the 5th time, I was like, "Hey, guys, I don't know why I asked for a strength check. Y'all are good to move the statues. Like, let's just, you know, you just get into the rhythm of asking for a roll,
Yeah.
you know? You're like, "We're good. Let's just assume you're strong enough." So, anyway,
How I mean, we don't need I know we don't have too long to go random, but how did that go? How did your one shot go?
it was good. It was good. I'm my biggest critic. You know, I see Brennan Lee
Yeah.
Mulligan in my mind, and I'm like, "How do I become this man?"
Right, right.
So, um, you know,
I'm sure you killed it.
Joy's always like, "Hey, you're great. You gotta just." I think my biggest weak point is dialogue. If I can just like someone will hit me with like a banger of a line, and I'm just like so locked in on, "Oh, that was such a good line," that I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
crap, he's waiting on a response from me." Um, so, but other
It's
than
tough,
that,
man. I mean, it's just like that muscle, right? Like,
mhm,
Brennan's literally been improving his entire life.
right,
So, like, we can't possibly, compare to that.
right.
Um, but I feel you, man. It doesn't feel fair how he can just do that instantly off the cuff. But yeah, what kind of was it 5e or was it
It was 5e. Well, mixture. I just told them choose whatever you want between 2024 and 5e in terms of like what was fun for you. And I said I would just navigate because both the rule
Yeah.
sets, both the spells are all there in D&D Beyond.
Mm,
So it's very easy to use both. And I built everything from like an opponent, like monster from 2024's perspective.
yeah.
But ultimately I didn't really care. I just said, hey, yeah, do whatever you want. But um but it went well. It was fine. We had a guy who had
Nice.
never played D&D before, who did a great job and seemed to have a lot of fun. And anyway, so
I love it, dude. I wish, another quick random aside, but I wish you were on TikTok. You're not on TikTok, are you?
mm,
Because sometimes I see ones that I wanna send you, but there was this one recently of this guy said it was the 35th anniversary of a campaign he'd been running, like, with his friends and playing for 35 years. So, like, to celebrate, they, rented out this castle for a
oh,
weekend, and they played in it, and I was like, "Gosh, that would be so cool."
that's my dream is to have
Right?
like just a campaign like for years. Like it would be cool to build a campaign because I don't know if any of you guys who I know we're kind of off topic here, but you guys who DM or play campaigns, I'm always feel like I'm playing against the clock of when like life will get in the way or the group will lose interest
Yeah.
because you are infinitely more likely for your group to die than you are to have one of those 35-year campaigns. But
Right.
certainly if I had like long term, I knew like losing them wasn't an option. I'm sure it would like open up kind of because like a good example of this is I'll have like a storyline that I'm thinking about a player, and I'm like, man, that would be like over a year and a half. I may only have like 6 sessions with this person.
Right.
What can I actually do that's it doesn't get to breathe as much, but you're like, what can I do that at least is something?
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, so yeah,
Yeah. That would certainly be awesome. Um, okay,
back
back
to
to
yeah,
steel. Yeah. So obviously there's some kerfuffle going on there, and I think it was also interesting that, it was pointed out that I can't remember how it was this information was revealed, but Suvi essentially picked up on the fact that the Magi didn't really know very much, and the implication was that, like, Steele had been keeping all of the details of these things close to
hmm
the chest, which could just be like, there could be an innocuous explanation for that, like, they're just the old heads, they don't need to know the day-to-day, but it could point to her kerfuffling and everything, you know?
I think
So
this makes me think of when we talk about Steel being evil and stuff, and like the League of Shadows, which we even said, or she said in 51 at the end or 52, like, hey, this is the League of Shadows, like talking about the 25th, whatever. I don't remember if it was 25 or what it was, but
yeah,
the extra quarter or place.
yeah,
And part of me makes me think something we've discussed is Steele's machinations above the Citadel. And what's that episode that's called? I think like The New World or something. And how
mhm,
she wants Suvi to be the one. So, like, this is what makes her a really awesome and compelling villain, which Brennan has mentioned in the fireside chat that he's never put so much thought into one character before. So, I'm sure there's
talking about steel?
talking about Steele. So
Mm,
I'm sure there's a lot happening here. And this data point around the Archmagi reminds me of her kill a bloodline spell that
yeah.
the vizier or whoever with the king was kind of like, what the heck? You have that spell?
What's that? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And so like the reason I love this as a data point for Steel is that it's not just like this nationalistic everything for the Citadel, which was kind of how we first originally thought of it, of like she's so pro Citadel that she would turn against Suvi's parents. Well,
mhm.
it seems like she really is kerfuffling, as you said, for like really, high level plans, which I love. I'm really intrigued to see what she has in mind.
I agree. I definitely think she has her own vision for, like, how this new world should be, and she's trying to kinda set that up behind the scenes. Um, but yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about it because 'cause we've talked about it for 50 episodes at this point, but I am just curious, like, what exactly is she aiming for? And, like, what how has she been modifying Suvi's memory? Like, is it just related to what happened to her parents, or have there been things happening her entire life that, like, because she's lived with her and stuff? Like, are there things she just had to erase? I'm very curious to know, like, how deep that well goes.
I think there's a really great theme there of I think the well is deep, and there's a great implication there of, when you love something, like what does real true love look like versus because I think in Steele's mind, it's like I've done all these things for your benefit, but it's like you don't, there's something inherently wrong there to do all of that.
Yeah.
Do it can I mean, we assume by the way, we don't actually know, but Brennan's so good at like these really meaty themes and kind of navigating some of this stuff. But um, yeah, I'm really curious. And do you think Silas wasn't killed? I think she said like wounded, right?
No, yeah, I think he had a wound, and then we, like, pan over and see that Silver is the one that attacked him, and he's dead. So, I was gonna say clearly, but I guess we don't know, but my takeaway from that was that Steele maybe even, like, control personed him, like,
Yeah,
somehow, like, forced Silver to do that so that he would die.
100%. Because we have the data point of the ink demon trying to give him the note and him not responding.
Right,
Presumably
right.
because he couldn't respond because he was under, you know, whatever mind control. And this is
Mm.
not me, by the way. This is Discord, either Discord or a Reddit comment, which may be both. Like, there's a few people who are very active in our Discord who are also very active on the subreddit. But someone pointed out what was the final mission that Suvi's parents were interested in. It was the sorcerer who was known for mind control or something. So there's some
Mm.
very interesting parallels that putting on the DM hat feels a little convenient that
Yeah.
there was a mission around mind control, and here you have someone being mind controlled. Um, oh, but man, how tragic for Silver, though. I
I
mean, you
know.
just kinda wonder, like, how's this all gonna work out for him? Like, is he just gonna walk away from it all? And then, clearly, Steele had an ambition around this that, um, I mean, it's just I
Y
feel bad for the guy.
yeah, and do you think that it's only because of that comment from Suvi that Steele, like, was Steele always going to kill Silver like this, or did she, when Suvi asked about the modified memory, did that terrify Steele and she's like, "I have to cut off this loose end immediately."
I don't
You know what I
know.
mean? Because originally she talked about, like, sending him to the far corners of the continent or whatever.
Yeah. Again, this is not mine. Someone said it really brilliantly about like part of the horror of Steele's reaction wasn't that necessarily. I think part of it, I'm like butchering how this person said it. They both had the same thought about Silver. And I think that's probably what surprised Steele was like, oh, we're both thinking the same thing, but we're thinking of it in very different elements. Like, how do we take care of Silver? And Suvi thinks mind
Yeah,
control, and Steele's kind of like, I already, the plan is already in motion. So I don't
yeah,
think it was because of that comment, but I think there was probably apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, nice little nugget of mother to daughter theme there, where they're both thinking of we have to deal with this loose end.
yeah.
But the big thing that I'm curious about is the note in his pocket, which I don't think we know what it says, but I think this was Suvi's note explaining why she turned away from the Citadel, right? Like when she left Bracken?
Right, yeah, the note that the ink demon delivered, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what was in it, but it was like presumably her kinda, like, final,
Mhm.
like, because this was before she realized she would be back at the Citadel even, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that could be very, what's the word? Incriminating, I guess?
I was gonna say damning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, everything Steele's done to protect Suvi's role in this new world, this is a pretty I mean, golly, it's just such a great little twist that I'm really keen to see how it plays out, but
Yeah. We do know what her note to Sworn said. Did you see that?
I don't think so.
They shared it on the Patreon, and I
Oh,
think they
okay.
shared it to everybody as well. I'll send it to you, but it essentially didn't say like a whole lot substantially, but the gist of it was that like Suvi really appreciated Sworn, and like kind of the tag at the end of her message is so like I ask you, what is it exactly that you're sworn to?
Mm,
So I feel like it was kind of her like maybe pushing that boundary and like kind of seeing, maybe Sworn could still be an ally type of thing is
mm.
is the vibe I got from it.
What's what was Steele's plan with Swarm? Like,
I don't yeah. I guess she doesn't necessarily know that he knows too much.
yeah, okay.
And I mean, I guess he doesn't,
Yeah,
other than I guess everyone that was involved in capturing Suvi probably
yeah,
doesn't think highly of her.
yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
Dude, one
yeah.
random parallel I just thought of, and I don't think no, never mind. But is the Steele's memory manipulation of Suvi and how that might interplay with like that character trait of hers. Because
Mhm,
one of her things is always like the pneumatic. I don't know if
mhm,
that's the right word, but like how she taps her fingers and stuff. Like I could see like a really beautiful moment built there where she like maybe she even is that way because of what Steele's
mm.
done to her whole life. You know what I mean? Like she can't remember things.
Yeah, and it's like yes, it's not a method of coping, so to speak, but, like,
Yeah.
how she has kind of found that stability. That's a really
Yeah.
interesting insight for sure. Um, only other detail I'll mention, because I know we're way past 10 to 15 minutes here,
Yeah.
is, I made a Reddit thread about this, but I really liked Brennan. Like, Suvi as a character kinda went full blown back to the Citadel again, and I loved Brennan. I don't know the phrasing for this, but as a DM, like, Brennan probably saw that it was maybe a little too like, that divide between the Citadel's ambitions and Ame and Ursulon was so vast that I would assume as a DM kinda realized, I need to pull Suvi back just a little bit for this to make sense narratively, and so I loved Brennan being like, history check. And hey, ambition with the Citadel, 'cause she said, like, this is what I've always wanted. He said, no, it's not. That's not what you've always wanted. And like I don't know
Yes.
if I would ever feel comfortable challenging a player in that way, because I just wouldn't know where they would go with it. Right. But
Yeah.
Brennan, genius DM and Aabria, amazing player, he's like, "No, that's not it." And then we had this incredible moment of her remembering, "No, it's so beautifully like tried and true wizard, by the way. I love magic. I love
Mhm.
discovery. I love," which for me really kind of gave us like a footing back towards the group where now it doesn't feel like Suvi versus Ami and Ursulon, which is what I was thinking at the end of 51.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved that whole moment with Brennan and that history check. I even looking at my notes, I wrote this in all caps because something he said, it, I don't remember the exact build up to it, but it was like Suvi wrestling with like she doesn't know what's true anymore, you know?
Mhm.
And Brennan says, "You can't find the truth, but you can find the lies." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that's good." Because sometimes it is hard to figure out like what exactly is right, but it's a
Right.
lot easier. You can be like, "Well, I don't know what is, but I can tell you what's not."
Yeah.
So I thought that was very insightful.
I also really loved, Aabria, like, hit on this so well, like, this theme of, like, the Empire and, like, walking in line with, like, the Empire's ambitions and, like, sort of like the rote, like, I don't know, like, kind of the guarded sense of it all, and I love the line of, like, knowing her favorite color was red, but even at a young age saying it's something different. Like, I don't know, there's
Yeah,
something about that character trait that just so well aligns with, like, the theme of the Citadel and, like, you know, I don't know, I just I really I think Abria was that whole monologue was just brilliant, I feel like.
I agree. I agree. And sort of related, I wondered her monologue to the Archmagi, like, sure, she must have prepared that, right?
Yeah,
Like, if she
too.
not that it totally fine if she did, I think it's still incredible, but if that was improv, that's insane,
Yeah.
because it was, like, so succinct and well done, but yeah.
Well, I think that's gonna do it. We're about half an hour in. So new episode just dropped. We'll talk about that in the next couple weeks. There's no Critical Role tonight. We'll have
Is it
a
over?
it's over. Age of Umber is over.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have our stream on Friday, and we'll go from there. So we'll talk, I guess,
Yeah.
Critical Role news on Friday.
Yeah, we'll probably do a lot of just, like, catch up
Yeah.
on
Also, I
Friday.
said no Critical Role tonight. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow there's no Critical Role. So anyway.
Oh, and then, our Calamity watch party is starting this weekend, right?
Yes. Calamity rewatch party Sunday night, 7 Central. Check the Discord, check the events, and you'll see your time with it. We'd love to have you come join as we watch through Calamity again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one, y'all. Again, apologies for, kinda being a little bit wopsy doozy for these last couple episodes, but we will be back to our regularly scheduled format for 53. So we'll do the recap and everything for that. Um, but yeah, that's all I got. Bye, y'all.